Anytime now. What's up, comic book fans? Pete here from Comic Books Transformed, where me and my good friend Brian over there talk about comics that have been adapted into movies and streaming shows. Brian, we're up to episode 295 of our show. What the hell?
Damn, that's a lot. Wow, it's almost a year's worth of content.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. And we've been going since like shelter in place, basically. We recorded on my other channel, Anchor Pete, and then it became its own channel here. We've covered a whole bunch of shows, including Peacemaker, which we're up to season 2. We're just covering episode 1 today, guys, so bear with us.
yeah,
So,
sorry, I'm a little behind on things.
dude, it's okay. Life happens, and our many thousands of fans will be
Yes,
okay waiting.
but
For,
they're gonna be upset, but you'll have to deal with it. I'm sorry.
yes. So let's just dive right into it. Are you upset about the change in the opening credits for Peacemaker?
Yes. So I actually do like the band Foxy Shazam. I have some of their albums, but it does not capture the magic of the first season opener. I was a little surprised that it's kind of a similar idea with the kind of dance sequence, I guess, but it just doesn't have the same magic. The song doesn't have the same energy. It's fine, but it's not a, and I understand that they worked really hard on it, and then a lot of them were really excited about it. I
Yeah.
watched a video about the making of it, but for me, not capturing the magic in the opening.
Okay, so like with the making of video, does James Gunn explain why he picked this particular song?
I don't think he's explained. All he really said was that Foxy Shazam is his favorite band in the world. I don't
Okay.
know why he picked the song. I don't think he said it.
Yeah.
If
Well,
he did,
it's interesting because I'm sorry, say it one more time.
but if he did say it, I don't remember.
Oh, okay, okay. No, I think it's interesting because there's like a complete tonal shift, right, from the first season's opening credits and this season's opening credits. That song, I actually really love that song, right? And I listen to it in the car and I kind of like get all emotional and stuff. But the feeling is so different. What's the fucking band from the first season? Is it Wigwam or something?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. That song, it just kind of captures this feeling of the show, at least in the first season, where it's kind of like ridiculous, but also like very masculine. And, it's kind of making fun of how masculine and over the top it is. It's got that 80s hair metal feel to it. It's so like in your face and silly. Then you go to this opening, and that song, the opening of the song and the way John Cena moves at first, it kind of almost has this like melancholy feel, but it does get very dramatic. And I feel like that might be what they're trying to go for the overall season 2. Do you think I'm reading too much into that?
No, I don't think so. It almost feels more like a ballet now.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
says
right.
damn ballet. That's what it feels like now, as opposed
Yeah,
to like this kind of like weird like commentary on masculinity, like you mentioned from that first season there. Because glam, it's a glam metal band, hair metal, whatever you want to call it. But like there is some weird questions about, you know, that it is a sort of a masculine genre, but the masculine figures dressed like women, sort of. I don't know. It worked a lot better, and it was more shocking in a way, and surprising. And
yeah,
this feels like more of the same, but a different tone. And I just didn't think it worked together as well.
yeah. I think okay. So what's James Gunn's wife? What's her name?
Jennifer Holland.
Okay,
Or
Jennifer
Jennifer
Holland.
Gunn.
Okay, Jennifer Gunn. Yeah. All right. Here's the thing, right? There are filmmakers, and they also make shows who are like very important to these YouTube channels, right? Like Mike Flanagan, he's important to my other channel, the Lasser Cast, and because it's called the Lasser Cast after the Lasser glass from his movie Oculus. And then James Gunn, he's very important to this channel. We've talked about Superman, we've talked about Preacher Commandos, Peacemaker, we've covered a lot. We covered his
Guardians of the Galaxy.
that too, that too, Brian. That is true. But the reason why I bring those two guys up is they're so important to these channels, and both of them have wives that are actresses, and they stick their wives into everything they make. Now, okay, I'm going to come off as like a misogynist and an asshole and stuff like that, but I think when you take your significant other and you put them into your project, I think that like sometimes you make them be like the biggest part of that project, or like they really stand out, and you kind of write them into it. And I don't know if that's always the best course of action. Like I think that this season they're playing up this romance between Harcourt and Christopher, Peacemaker, and you see it in that opening credits. I just think that like I don't necessarily know if I like Harcourt, and I don't know if I care about their relationship the most out of everything you could get out of this show.
Um. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I don't dislike it. I don't say I love it necessarily either. Um. I think it did have somewhat of a place in the first season, although to me the bigger emotional connection was with Peacemaker and Amanda Waller's daughter, whose name I don't remember right now.
At a photo way or something.
No, well, what's her? I don't remember her character's name even.
Well, her name's like Ada Boda way, something like that. And then they just
Yeah,
call her like ads a lot in this
yeah,
season.
yeah. Ads. Okay, let's just say ads. I really appreciated that friendship. That was like the central thing to me in terms of like relationships, I guess.
Yeah.
In that, and not that I like it's clearly not a sexual relationship, so that's probably why they also have this thing with Peacemaker and Harcourt. Um, I ultimately though this episode, so again, only the first episode here because I'm a slacker. Um, I felt like they went out of their way to make everyone included and pathetic. Like, uh,
Right.
I feel like this first episode should have just featured on like the stuff with Peacemaker is good and makes sense, and I gel with that, but everything else felt shoehorned in. Every other character, every other arc felt shoehorned into this episode because they feel like they were established and they need to give you an update on what they were doing, but it just doesn't fit there. Harcourt is what she's going through. I mean, it's an interesting story idea, but like I guess like James Gunn seems to be saying like, oh, these are regular people that are sort of pathetic in a way, like like people in real life, and they have
Yeah.
problems. And I think they just went a little too much into that. I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, I see that. Harcourt is interesting because she was like so involved with Argus, right? Like that was like her thing. Like she's like the equivalent of someone that's working for Shield, like Maria Hill or even Nick Fury in the MCU. She's like the other main Argus person besides Amanda Waller. So for her to not be an Argus anymore, it obviously like kind of takes away part of her identity or the main part of her identity.
Yeah,
So good.
yeah, like on paper, that's an interesting idea is to have somebody
Right.
that lived their life with this purpose and now doesn't have that purpose and can't get back into the swing of things there. But like, I feel like that it seems forced. And I feel like with like John Economos, he's still kind of like Amanda Waller's lapdog in a way, and
Yes.
it's kind of pathetic. And then Vigilante is this like whatever the fuck he's doing. He's just bored, I guess. And it seemed kind of like everyone seemed super pathetic. And I get that, like, I get the idea with trying to do that to make them more relatable in some way, but I think
Yeah.
they went a little too hard on it.
Hmm.
If that makes sense.
Of course, of course. Yeah. Me and Mike Bongiorno covered RoboCop recently, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about how it's like simultaneously like a commentary on like violence in America and action movies and just like politics in America, but then it's also about how like violence is cool and action movies are cool, right? It's like two things at the same time. I feel like Peacemaker is that sort of as well. It's like the idea of Peacemaker himself, that he's this like violent character that was raised by a racist father, and he just is really good at killing people. That's his whole thing. But then he has this other side to him that is emotional and sensitive, and he doesn't want to be this like killing machine. He wants to be a good person. That's compelling. It's kind of like having your cake and eating it too, because they're making fun of like militarized costume killers, but then they're also being like, well, you should care about them too. Like I think that when you watch him in the Suicide Squad, he's more of like a joke versus a character that you care about, and he's kind of a villain in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, he's a lot cockier in that thing, and he's not as nearly as sympathetic as he was in season one.
Right, right. And so I think that like all of these characters, it's weird because they kind of go back and forth between thinking that he's a joke and they're almost like the stand-ins for regular people like us interacting with this costumed murderous loser. And then but then they also are like really they're like supporting him and they are like really bought into like their mission and stuff. So it's like two things at once. And I think that like what we're experiencing with this first episode is we're seeing like when like what happens to normal people when they get kind of thrown back into the normal world after being in this crazy superhero violent world.
That's like a great now you have you hooked on this premise. Like it's like what happens to the hero after they save the world. Like that's a very interesting premise. But I don't feel like that's what they're doing here. I feel like what they're really doing is presenting you with this kind of like what if kind of question where it's like, oh, you know, what if Peacemaker's dad wasn't an asshole, and what if he didn't kill his brother, and you know, how do you make this choice between this world, this kind of idealized world, or this world that you've lived in your entire life, with that's kind of sad in a lot of ways, and it's less ideal. I think that's what's really the crux of the show is going to be.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's where we're going, and you'll see more of it in episode 2 when you watch it. But I mean, I have a whole philosophical shtick about that, the idea of like replacing himself in another reality. Maybe I'll save that for the next episode because I've been blathering a lot today. But I don't know, like let's kind of break down the episode itself and just talk about like what stood out, what we enjoyed. I think you had talked about like how your son wanted to watch the show, and I was like, don't watch that first episode. I mean, you can understand why, right?
Yes, that's 100% a reason not to have your kids watch the show. Not that I did ever have my kid watch the show, but he just likes John Cena, and I'm like, oh, it's John Cena and a superhero. Let me watch that. Sorry, kiddo, not for you.
Yeah. I think the problem is right is that there's like this hard cut into him being like right in the middle of an orgy. Like it's like you know, if you're watching something with your kids and like you're like, okay, well these adults are kissing, they're probably gonna have sex. Okay, let me like fast forward or like tell them to like not look or something. But this, it's like he's like in his living room and I think he's like depressed. He does some coke and then all of a sudden there's just naked people banging all around.
Yes.
Oh no, he hits like a bong or something, I think, and then
and there's a bunch of drugs, lots of sex there, and then Akanos is just surveilling his house outside.
Right.
Trying to explain like what's going on, which is kind of funny.
Right. I see, and I like that. You know, one of the things that I've been doing, and you know this because you see all this shit, but just in case, like I've been doing a lot of these like videos where I ask people questions about Peacemaker, and then for our other channel, Lastercast, I've been talking about Alien Earth, which we cover that on that channel.
Pete on the Street.
But Pete on the Street, exactly. Yes. And for those channels and for those questions, I've been talking a lot about like James Gunn and his needle drop moments where there's like music playing and then there's something going on. A lot of times it's like a violent action scene. That orgy is like one of those needle drop moments because it's like he hits the bong and he like sits back and then there's all these people just banging around him. And there's, I forget what song is playing. And then there's this really fucking awesome moment with another Foxy, I can never say their fucking name, Foxy Shazam song, where it's called A Dreamer. Do you know that song?
Yes. I don't remember where it was used in the episode.
So what happens is he's going through the different doors, or he's looking at the different doors, and that sort of that, I don't know, that parallel, that, I don't know what the fuck you call it, the pocket universe thing, right? Okay. And he opens the door to this like ideal world of his, and it's playing that song. If this is just a dream, I don't want to wake up. Yeah, you had to hear my horrible singing there. I just fucking loved that so much because it's like it feels like a dream because of that song, you know?
Yeah, and that encapsulates the question of the season too, you know?
Right. one thing we totally skipped over that we need to talk about is the like previously on, because it's John Cena and he says previously in the DCU, which that's a very like they're making a choice there to do that, you know?
Yes, yes. Um, Wait, isn't the new thing called the DCU, or and the old thing was the DCEU, right?
Right. So he's saying previously in the DCU. It's
DCU.
kind of like
Okay,
saying
so
like
it's
this.
basically acknowledging that hey, we're with Superman, and that some of that stuff didn't happen. Basically, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean they literally fucking retcon stuff in the previously on part.
Yeah, but it's really just the arrival of the Justice Gang rather than the Justice League,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yes, yeah. I think there might be like one scene of dialogue that they kind of changed the dialogue a little bit in the previously on, but yeah, it is that scene where instead of like the Justice League from Zack Snyder's Justice League, you now have, Superman from the most recent Superman movie. Supergirl is there too, I think, and then
Oh, I
Hawk
didn't see that.
Girl. Yeah, there's two like Kryptonians because they have the capes and they're floating in like silhouette.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's Hawkgirl, Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific's there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of that?
I think it's good. I think it was always going to be a hard call to keep something from the previous continuity and keep it moving here. But I think the quality of the first season, it was kind of necessary to do, and I'm totally fine with it. Um, and that's really it. It's I'm okay, and let's just move on with it and just take it as it is.
Yeah, I agree. So they show the Justice Gang in this episode too. Do you remember that sequence?
Yeah, so kind of like the interview scene. Yeah. So we have
Yeah.
Maxwell Lord, Guy Gardner, and Hawkgirl, and the whole gag is that the intercom doesn't really work, and he hears everything. Um,
Right.
and again, it's just kind of going out of the way, like a little too hardcore about showing how pathetic Chris is, I guess.
Right. Right.
And you also have that scene prefaced by that girl walking out in like the white bunny suit. I don't know what character that was supposed to be. Um,
There's a villain in Batman who is like a bunny like that. There's also a villain in Spider-Man that's a
Yeah, yeah,
villain like
I know White Rabbit from Spider Man, but I couldn't think of one from DC.
yeah.
Um,
There's a white rabbit that's like in Gotham, and I distinctly remember like there's this when they did like Forever Evil and everyone busted out of Gotham. I remember like on the cover you could see her. She's like one of the people.
got it. Oh yeah, I think I remember that. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. I mean like because in Batman there's like a whole gang of people that are like Alice in Wonderland themed, and I
yes,
think she's just one of them.
got it.
So um but yeah, I like that we're connecting this to Superman. I'm trying to think if there's any other connective tissue to Superman
Well,
that just came out. Go ahead.
well, not that Superman just came out, but James Gunn recently said that how are you enjoying season 2 of Peacemaker, which is the prequel to Man of Tomorrow, which is the second Superman movie.
Oh yeah, okay. See, I saw shit like that on TikTok, and I was like, oh, they've like announced that like that's
Yeah,
the name of the movie.
yeah,
It's
like
like
we're already getting a Superman sequel in 2027. Yes, and there was that artwork was Lex in the full green and purple battle suit, and Superman standing there. Everyone's kind of speculating that it's going to be like a team up movie against like Brainiac or something. But that's pure speculation. But he clearly said that Peacemaker is a prequel to Man of Tomorrow. Like he called it out in that exact way there. And I also
oh,
remember hearing that they sent out like the first 5 episodes to like streamers and reviewers, but they refused to send out the last 3 because like so many crazy things happened. So I'm very curious to see what that means.
holy shit. Okay, all right. Well, I saw that image. I saw it like 'cause it's like Superman and Lex standing next to each other, right?
Yes.
Like I think like Superman has like a key or something in his hand too.
Screwdriver looks like.
Okay, okay. Shit, I didn't know that was like official. I thought that was just
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
that is fucking crazy. Okay, okay. Well, all right. So in the previously on, I'm pretty sure that they show a scene from Superman where it's like Mr. Terrific's talking about pocket dimensions, and it's like when they show the pocket dimension starting to open up into reality and like mess up the city. Pretty sure
Yeah.
that's in that opening. So, like, obviously they're talking about pocket dimensions. Peacemaker's father has like created one, and that's where there's all these doors. That's what kind of sets up the whole show this season. He's like just walking through there at one point because I think something comes through the door and then he like goes to check up on it or something like that. And uh, we see this creature, which I don't know what the fuck it is. It's probably just some random creature that James Gunn made up, but it kind of reminds me of like a Daemonite. Do you know what those are?
Daemonite. No, I was wondering if it was one of those things that Lex Luthor had trapped in the.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing that Lex Luthor had looked more like a white Martian than
Yeah,
this thing.
true.
Um, this thing kind of almost looked like a xenomorph with like the way its head was
Yeah,
shaped and stuff. It was black. Um, but Daemonites are in Wildcats, which is owned by DC now. Like all the Wildstorm stuff is owned by DC. Daemonites are like the race that fights against the Carabim, which is like the race that the Wildcats are, or most of the Wildcats are.
yes.
Yeah, so
I,
like
I
I
I remember reading some Wildcats back in the day, like in the
yeah,
90s, but
yeah.
my memory is not so great on those. I also remember that I believe there was a cartoon.
There wasn't like a cheesy cartoon in
Yeah.
the 90s. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? All the Wildstorm stuff, just for anybody that's watching this that actually gives a shit about what me and Brian are talking about, there's like Wildstorm stuff that's like written by main, like awesome writers that like you're like, oh shit, this person wrote this book and it's like really good. And I feel like James Gunn might have a soft spot for it. Because like, they had talked about making an Authority movie. I don't know if they're gonna do that now or not, but
Well, they
like,
said James Gunn said that there was, they're only moving forward on completed scripts that feel like they're there, like they feel like they're good and making it worth making. And he said
yeah.
that one of them was not, and they had to like basically trash it, and it was heavily hinted at that it was the Authority,
Oh man.
which I kind of understand.
Yeah.
Like I the I especially think it would be hard to make an Authority movie, and then on top of that, make an Authority movie that fits in with this new DC universe. Because the original
Yeah.
Authority, the one that we read and we love, is its own its own Wildstorm standalone thing, nothing to do
Yeah.
with DC. So it
Yeah.
kind of like it's okay that these major superheroes are sort of trying to like fix the world and do things their way, regardless of what everybody else thinks. And I just don't see that fitting in with the world with this Superman, unless they're flat out villains.
Yeah. Well, with the Authority, it never really makes sense that like they're owned by DC because like in the Authority you have Apollo and Midnighter, which are Batman and Superman. So it always
Yeah,
feels kind of weird that they're in the same universe.
yeah, yeah. That's true. But there's so many Kryptonians and so many other characters that have similar powers. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not, and then there's also a bunch of billionaires running around too, with lots of money. Although
Yes.
Midnight's not a billionaire, he's just really good at fighting, I guess. Um,
Yeah, both of them, Apollo and Midnight, are two characters that were like they were just crazily like they were experimented on. I think maybe even using like alien technology that humans had, and,
yeah,
and they're just like super advanced. Yeah, but no, I don't know. You and me, we should write the fucking Authority movie and submit it to James Gunn.
do it.
Fuck yeah, we'd make a good one too. But oh shit, I took us off track by talking about the Authority. What the fuck? What were we talking about before that?
Peacemaker.
I know that. That's the video, but like I guess we were talking about like the doors and shit. Oh, we should talk about like him running into his other self.
Yes. So yeah, he runs into his other self. They get into a little scuffle, and he kills his other self.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
I,
and that really sets up the problem that we mentioned before. Is that does he stay where he originally belongs in this life he perceives as kind of being fucked up and unfair, or does he go live in this place that has this idyllic scenario where his dad's alive and his brother's alive and they're actually heroes like he wants to be, like he wants to be a superhero, and he feels like he can't do that at home. And I think that's a really compelling and interesting idea, and that's what I kind of latched onto with the episode.
yeah.
Because overall, I don't think I was super happy with the first episode, other than that kind of concept.
Yep. And Brian, I could actually say the exact same thing myself. I felt the exact same way. Um, I I got a whole philosophical shtick to say about this parallel world, but I'm going to save it for the next recording we do because it makes more sense with the second episode too. But I we have this great situation where he runs into his brother. I can't remember the actor's name, but he was in like Rebel Ridge or whatever, which is this great movie on Netflix. And the main guy in Rebel Ridge, he's he's gonna be Jon Stewart in
Yes.
the Lantern show, right? I actually really like that movie a lot. And but the guy that's in that's Peacemaker's brother, he's also the guy that was like Pam's fiance on The Office. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh, no, I had honestly never seen him before. So, because I haven't watched Rebel Ridge yet, and I never watched that much of The Office. So,
Okay. Yeah, he's this one actor. I've seen him in a few different things. He was in Rebel Ridge. He was in The Office. He was in this show that Sherry and I covered on the Anchor Pete channel back in the day called Mayor of Easttown. He was in that. He was good. But he's his brother, and then Robert Patrick is his father again. But like he's just like not a racist.
yes, his colors are literally inverted from, the world we're used to. So,
Right, right, right. So I mean, I just love seeing Robert Patrick in general. And like it's cool, like it's such a crazy concept to wrap your head around where it's like, your father was this like negative, toxic presence in your life, just like a true villain, and then to see like the inverse of him. I don't know. I really like that. And I feel bad for Peacemaker because it's like,
yeah,
anyone would want that life.
yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just that sequence where you have the two Peacemakers fighting. I really loved that the Peacemaker from the ideal world, he like shot these like things off of his helmet that like just were digging into Peacemaker's back, just cutting him up.
Yeah.
I love that. I guess it didn't have as strong a reaction for you.
Well, honestly, I didn't remember what happened because I watched it like the day after it premiered, and it's been 2 weeks since then, so I just don't remember.
Oh, okay. I watched it like the fucking night it came out, and I remember that. It's just like these like fucking buzz saws came off his helmet and were just like cutting
Yeah,
into
no,
John.
I do remember now. It was a good fight. It was interesting. I know it's always hard to film those things too because
Yeah, same guy.
same guy, and you have to find similar size
Yeah,
stunt doubles and all that crap. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, is there anything else that you have to say about this first episode?
No, that's kind of it there. Hopefully, I'll be caught up for the next time we record this. We can do 2 and 3. We'll review 2 and 3 the day number 4 comes out.
There you go. We'll eventually catch up. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 295 of Comic Books Transformed. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Me and Brian are going over to record with our friend Danny. We're going to talk about Alien Earth episode 5 right now. I also have another channel, which used to be the Anchor Pete channel. It's now called Aether and ATX, where I talk about reality and consciousness and shit like that. So, I don't know if you like to listen to me talk, check out all those fucking channels. But especially if you like me and Brian together, stay here. We got more Peacemaker coming up.